Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Basking Broodscale on the play for game one. We just need lands. As you can see, we're on Golgari with Sephiroth. But yeah, this hand just needs lands, and then we are good. Wooded Foothills. Fetch. Let's go Overgrown Tomb Shock for Sephiroth. Blade, pass, and pass. I mean, if we find an E-Temp, I think that'd be the best case scenario. Steam Vent Shock. Is it Prowess? Tameo. Probably Cutter. Llanowar Waste. Broodscale. Pass. And pass. Just need one more mana, and we got it. Yeah, that or Ballista. Ballista would work as well. Mountain. Paying cost, EI. Shields are down. So if they... Oh, there's an Amber. So they have access to blue. Emery. Again, shields are down. Draw. Sephiroth. No land, unfortunately. Springleaf Drum is mana neutral. So we'll play Springleaf. Is there any reason to make a spawn now or just equip? I think I'll just equip and pass. Well, I guess we should have attacked, yeah. Forgot about Emery. I was thinking is that had 3 toughness, not 2, for some reason. Urza Saga, trigger. I guess maybe another better option would have been just to play another Broodscale. It may have been the better option in the grand scheme. Cutter. 2 cards in hand, Bobble. Bobble target me. Bolt. Yeah, so maybe playing the other Broodscale would have been better in the grand scheme. Because then we could have equipped, then we could have adapted, yeah. Down to 14. 1 card in hand, Bobble. Bobble target, trigger. Probably could have done that before attacking to get 1 more damage in. Blue, Soul Guide Lantern. Eats the Broodscale and draw. Okay, so this works. Broodscale. Equip. Ballista for 0. Trigger. Always yield. Always yes. Always yield. Sack. And thankfully the Ballista came in, but yeah, so I made a misplay earlier. Like I said, I should have played the second Broodscale because that would have guaranteed me the game unless they had 2 pieces of interaction. Thankfully it worked out in our favor. They're tapped down, so yeah, that will be a win against Cutter. Could have been a bit cleaner, but we got there. I don't think I have a sideboard guide made specifically for Cutter. I mean, Urza Saga we likely want to see Wastegate Battle Mage. 0 mana value spells. I'm thinking maybe Vexing Bauble. Soul Guy Lantern's relevant. Haywire Mite's relevant. Cut Fleshraker, cut Ballista. And then start trimming on Sephiroth because it's kind of the mid-range play. We want this member as well. So yeah, I think we trim on Sephiroth completely then. Like I said, we want Mite, Guide, Vexing Bauble, Springleaf Drum. And then if we go to game 3, we can cut for a Thief, I suppose. Yeah, it seems reasonable. Alright, let's run it like this. This seems reasonable. They'll likely bring in, whatchamacallit, Pithy Needle as well. Rose Mason and Broodscale, though we are missing a green source. I mean, we have 11 hits for green for an Ancient Stirrings, 4 hits for Broodscale. The only hard part is, even if we find the Broodscale, then again, so 11 hits green, 15 Broodscale, Wastegate, not Wastegate, but Clarion Fleshrake, another 4, so 19. I mean, yeah, we have plenty of hits here. I'll keep. There's Tameo, draw, Rumble, Temple, Blade, pass. Next turn we can Wastegate if needed. I thought would be if they play a Saga, for example. No Saga. Canals. Cutter. We can get rid of Cutter. Emery. Hits an Opal and a Bauble. Draw. Another Blade. Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. Wastegate, kick green. Exile Cutter. Pass. And pass. EI. 2 in hand. They have the Bauble in yard for Emery, which is a little bit annoying. Maybe find a Broodscale. We'll be able to equip, then not do much thereafter. Ah, there's a Saga. A bit late. Another Emery. And Emery will find what? Not much, honestly. A lot of things that they probably want in hand. Emery tap target Bauble. Unless they need mana, in which case they'll go Opal. But I imagine Bauble. There's Opal. Okay. So growing the Monk. Attack, attack. I'll take the 3 down to 15. And draw 2 in hand, Rumble, we whiff again. That is a tad annoying, I will not lie. Is there any reason to play the second Blade? Probably not, right? And I think we just hold again. Again, we need a green source. We have 11 hits off top for green sources. Paying cost for clue, crack a clue, draw a card. They can start making constructs. EI. What does EI find? The fact they went for Opal tells me they have a counterspell in hand, I think. Yeah, it's the only explanation. Did I not play a land? Is that crazy? No, I did. This is their turn 4. There's Bobble. Bolt. Wayscape down. Yep. Yeah, things are looking up for them. Four damage down to 11. And a K command would be decent, but I feel like, yeah, it has to be Eldrazi creature, otherwise I think it's going to get countered. Bobble target me. Draw. So there's K command. I'll hold. Fetch. Steam Vent Shock to make a Saga token? You do. So that's shields down. Interesting. I will scry draw ramp. Apparently all the Broodscales are together. Interesting. So we have Wooded Foothills. I mean, the Ballista's the payoff. We can definitely make this work. So I'm thinking bottom, top, 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 top and draw, and pass. We'll pass. I guess they could end up going for a Pithy Needle here is the only problem I see. Yeah, that would be a bit annoying. So now we have the Broodscale, great, right? But now they have Needle. Maybe we should have gone for the Broodscale and then the green source. That may have been better, honestly. Because then we could go digging for an answer to the Needle, but now the way we have it set up, we're just blocking for days. Yeah, not sure I like that. Think I could have done a bit better. So there's Repeal. Cameo Flip. Opal. Yeah, I guess I should have played around the Pithy Needle, admittedly. I think grabbed a Broodscale. So, like, put the land on top. Broodscale. And then run the Rumble. Yeah, maybe that would be right. Try and find an answer for Pithy Needle. I'm trying to think what I have here. I'm just going to concede. I don't think I have an out. Especially now if Tammy about to start going off. Yeah, that was a misplay on my part. I should have taken the fetch. I should have put Broodscale on top after the fetch. I should have fetched. And then either Stirrings or Rumble. Probably Stirrings. Because it digs deeper and hits pretty much everything in our deck. Try and find an answer to the Pithy Needle. And then attempt to go off after. Yeah, I think that would have probably been right. Alright, we'll bring in the Thief. On play for game 3. I will keep. I mean, I think I just fire off Bauble here. That way they can't play their Ambers, Opals, or Baubles. Yeah, I think that seems right. Vexing Bauble? Pass. Next turn we can Landwar Waste in the Ancient Stirrings. Either that'll hold up K command X1. Pass. Wooded Foothills. Passing. Draw. Landwar Waste. Ancient Stirrings. Springleaf Drum, Emrakul. Kind of like the idea of Springleaf Drum, since we didn't see a land here. Otherwise, we could grab the Emrakul, but it feels like it's going to be a while before I hit that, so we'll go Springleaf. Play Springleaf and pass. But Foothills, fetch, surveil. Emery to yard and pass. And if they have Cutter here, they can't do anything with it. I guess they can still trigger, actually. Yeah, they can still trigger Cutter. Needle, naming, blade. We have, what, 4 or 5 ways of dealing with it? Yeah. Land. Shock. I will fire off the K command now because I don't want to have to play around a consigned memory. X equals 2. And also Haywire Might, so yeah, we have plenty of good options. I'll go top, and draw. I guess we could have fired off the Rumble, admittedly. Soul Guide Lantern. Hit Emery. Almost pass, hold up the Dismember. Saga. Alright. Emery. Trigger. Full on whiff. And draw. Rumble. Saga trigger. Rumble. There's Beseiju. So we could go for Beseiju on Needle. That is an option. Otherwise we can go Saga Beats. Interesting thoughts here. Main thing is that their Saga can probably grab a Haywire Might before mine can. So Beseiju probably is the right move, but maybe Beseiju in their Saga is the best bet. In that case, don't really want them to untap with it. So colorless, green, tap you, Saga down. Breeding Bull tapped. They definitely have Consign in hand. That much seems obvious. We'll just pass at this point. Actually, I guess the bad thing about Needle, or Beseiju more accurately, is that since it doesn't exile, Emery could have just grabbed it back. So I'm glad I did that. And then we can just start going with Saga Beats next turn. With constructs. 2, 3, flame. Draw 2, destroy an artifact. In response, I will crack it, draw a card. Might as well get some value. There's a Saga. Passing. There's bobble number 1. Bobble trigger, target me. And exile your yard. No, thank you. And pass. And draw. Trigger. Windswept Heath. They don't have blue up anymore. So I suppose I will play Broodscale. Tap Broodscale. Adapt. Always yes, always yield. And we'll hold up Construct mana, as well as the ability to dismember. Again, I can't actually equip a blade anyways. Bobble. I guess I should have dismembered first, because sacrificing is part of the cost. Yeah, because Emery can then just target it. I should have done it probably in response to the cast, honestly. That's on me. Yeah, I'm playing a little bit sloppy tonight, admittedly. Make a construct. Paying cost. Galvanic Blast. That's fine. I guess 1, 2, 3. I suppose I could have hit the construct with Dismember. Yeah, and that would have brought it down to 2 damage. I suppose. It's not like we can combo off right now is the problem. We're very much in a mid-game plan. Steam Vent Shock. Make a construct. Bobble trigger. Blade. Of course. So in that case, I'm thinking we make a construct. Consign. So they do have the consign, but I can't search. That's fine. Play Blade of the Blood Chief. And equip Blade of Blood Chief. Oh, I can't equip Blade of Blood Chief right now. Right. Go to combat then. Yeah, I guess the consign would have stopped the search regardless. Do we want to get rid of the Emery now? I suppose I see if they bobble first. They do not. I also should have probably held up the black source for Dismember in retrospect. Tis another thought. I guess Springleaf Drum will get me a black source at the very least. Haywire Might. I'm gonna go after the Emery now. Blue. Metallic Rebuke. Yes. Pass in full. They could have a second one, I suppose. Perhaps Bobble back. Yeah, I should have killed that Emery a while ago. Would have solved a lot of issues, honestly. Tamio, 5-5. We'll block with a token. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. Bobble trigger. And draw. Landwar Waste. No reason to play it. We'll pass. And pass. EI trigger. Saga trigger. Amber. Some blockers. I block and I block. But realistically speaking, and I imagine going after... What I should have done is, in response to the Galvanic Blast, I should have gone after Construct is what I should have done. Draw. I'll cast the Halfling. Go to combat. Pass in full. And I think, unfortunately, they do have this one. Down to 4. Theoretical 6. We can block. Construct. So 2/7/7. So that's lethal on board if they have ability. Yep. Okay. I'll concede. Yeah. I'm recording this a little bit later than I normally would. It's been a long day, so not an excuse for making silly mistakes, but definitely a reasoning for it at the very least. That said, we'll be back for match 2. Alright, and we're back for match 2 on the play for game 1. We have the Blade, we have Halflane, we'll keep. Wooded Foothills, fetch. Forest, Halflane, and pass. And pass. Eldrazi Temple. Draw. Haywire Might. Ancient Stirrings. There's a Basking Broodscale. Play... Play E-Temp. Play Blade. And pass. And hold. Alright, so double E-Temp is pretty obviously a K command. So in that case, I'll play a forest, and we'll just pass. They're forced to hold up interaction. And again, it's very obvious what you have. Yep. Interesting. I will K command ramp and exile, or ramp and scry draw. There we go. Words. Urza Saga Cavern of Souls. Well, there's Ballista as a payoff. Cavern of Souls bottom. Ballista top, Saga top, and pass. Halfling down. Forest. Blade. Draw. Let's see here. Let's start with Broodscale. Attempt to equip. Triggers the blades. Paying cost. Beseiju. Yes, Beseiju will resolve. Shuffle up. Attempted equipped fails. Saga trigger. Haywire Might. No reason to Might right now, I don't think. We just hold it instead. Also, you see the Broodscale, then we'll Haywire Might the blade. Malevolent Rumble resolves. Okay, so they also are on Sephiroth, it looks like. Flashraker. Saga trigger. And Fleshrake. And draw. Rumble. I will rumble. I suppose I will grab the Beseiju. Play Overgrown Tomb Shocked. Any reason to play the Ballista right now? Not really. So we have Beseiju, we have Might. We have the mana for Saga. I think we just hold then. Saga trigger. Blade of the Blood Chief resolves. They also use their only green source, so it's unlikely that they have the Broodscale. Okay, so there's a green source. Rumble resolves. I mean, there's the Broodscale, but now you don't have any green sources. Why not tap the Saga or Temple? Rumble. Chooses Basking Broodscale. Honestly, it may have been worth grabbing the Sephiroth if you have the black source up. End step. Make a construct. Exiling the blade kind of feels wrong right now because I just have the construct or the saga anyways. The next question, of course, is whether or not they have another K command in hand. Because they have access to 1, 2, 3, 4. I can knock it down 2. But still would be X equals 2 available to them is the problem. Yeah. Draw. Land War Wastes. Float. Blade of the Blood Chief. Attempt to equip. Sack. Triggers. Always yes. Always yield. I have Ballista. So we'll just go for Ballista X equals 19. Or 18 rather. I guess actually 19 is better. So I'll have to go up to 38. Gonna be a moment. Yeah, if they had held up the Overgrown Tomb and they grabbed the Sephiroth, then it would have been a bit interesting. Would have had to play it a very specific way to ensure we could ping down the Sephiroth first, and then be able to just win from there. Alright, almost there. Almost the 38. Another 10 to go. Alright. At 37, we can go Ballista. And then we'll sack the spawn as 38. Because there's multiple ways we could do this. We could either A, ping down their board, or B, just ping them down. It doesn't really matter because we also have a huge Broodscale. Alright, remove, target, trigger, and opponent scoops it up. We'll take the win. Alright, so it is a bit of a mirror match, it would seem. Makes sense, given that there was a Golgari list that did top 8 recently. We want Dismember, we want Wayscape. You want Thief, cut Flesh Rake, Ballista. The thing is we want Sethroth as well. So let me take a look at my guide. Because this is a bit awkward. Because Sethroth is a good mirror breaker. So cut 3 Ballista, 1 Might, 1 Flesh Raker for Wastegate Dismember. No Thief. So cut 3 Blade. Cut the Might. Because yeah, resolving Sethroth makes their life very difficult. It is a very good mirror breaker. Because they need an answer for it, basically. It's also possible that maybe just Thief and Haywarmite are better, and that Sethroth we don't care about as much. Maybe. Something to think about. I mean, we have it. Yeah, we'll keep. I'll pass in full. Eldrazi Temple, Blade, draw. Urza Saga trigger. I'm gonna possibly need a Springleaf Drum here if we don't draw into any more mana, or lands rather. Pass. Cavern of Souls. Eldrazi, do you have the Broodscale? If they do, that is an issue. No Broodscale though. Draw. Trigger. Saga. Overgrown Tomb. Shock. Now we can do one of two things here. We can play the Broodscale. Yeah, let's go for the Broodscale. We have 2. We'll pass. They would need to basically spend their entire turn killing it, unless they have a Dismember here. K command X equals 1. If they have a land Broodscale, then they have the engine online. Unearth. Cycle. Don't like that card in this deck, I'll be real. And Bone scoops it up. We'll take the win. Alright. Solid win. Well, we will be back for match number 3. Alright, and we're back for match 3 on the play for game 1. I will keep... It's a decent Flesh Rake hand. Delighted Halfling, pass. And pass. Sacred Foundry, shock. Galvanic Discharge, yep. Alright. And draw. Saga. Saga trigger. So now we just need the Broodscale. We'll play the Haywarmite. In case they play Bombardment, for example. Arena of Glory. Hasting a Ragavan? Potentially. Discharge and then haste the Ragavan. Okay. Maybe we should have played... Oh, no, I guess the Ballista wouldn't have made much of a difference. Interesting, though. Alright, pass in full. Attack with the Ragavan. Ragavan hits Broodscale. Force, that's fine. That's 2 discharge out already. Onslaught Pride. Draw. Another Ballista. Tempted to Ballista then. X equals 1. So we can block the Pride, ping the Ragavan. Land, combat. Blockers, block. Remove, pass. Fetch Marsh Flats. Elegant Parlor. Keeps it on top. And passes. Rumble. We have access to 4 mana. I would be able to go down to 3. Yeah, I mean, we could still go for it. Blade. Rumble. There's the Broodscale. Oh, no, we're still fine. I was right. I was like, did I mess that up? Because I don't need the spawn. I have the Walking Ballista. Always yield. Ballista for 0. Always yes. Always yield. And here comes the Flesh Rake. Always yield. And let's do that until our opponent either concedes or they run out of life. Opponent concedes, we'll take the win. Yeah, if you just feed energy fodder, basically, they'll just always Galvanic Discharge it. Alright. So we're going to want Dismember, Thief, Toxic Deluge. So Deluge, Dismember, Thief, Cut, Might, Glaring Flesh Rake, Ballista, and 3 Sephiroth. Alrighty, let's run it back like this. Yeah, Deluge is more or less the Fire Spout replacement. I don't like that it's, painful, but it does do the job well. I suppose there are other things. What would it be? Like the 3 mana, everything gets -2/-2. Cry of the Canarium, but I feel like there's a better version of it now. Then again, I'm pretty sure Cry is double black. Sephiroth, Saga Stirrings. We'll keep. Could be kind of interesting. Stirring Saga. Unless we find a E-Temp. In which case, then we E-Temp for Command X1. It's a thought. Marsh Flats. I went down to 6. Fetch. Sacred Foundry. Shock. Is it a Ragavan? It's a Guidasouls. Okay. That's palatable. Draw. Ballista. Ancient Stirrings. Trigger. Not trigger. There's a blade. We don't really want the blade, though, do we? I mean, it's not a bad thing to have access to, admittedly. But it doesn't really do too much for us right now is the only problem. We could go for the drum instead, or a Land War Waste. Go for the drum. And pass. Yeah, because then we can drum and stirrings. Alternatively, we can always ballista if needed. A Johnny. Don't want to flip a Johnny. Guide of Souls hits for 1. Down to 19. Draw. Flesh Rake. Saga Trigger. Ancient Stirrings. Another Flesh Rake. Would have liked those 2 Deluges. Springleaf Drum. And pass. pass. Windswept Teeth fetch. Clarion Conqueror. Wear Tear. Oof. That's an oof. Draw. Halfling. Tis a halfling. Overrun Tomb. Tapped and pass. And pass. Guide of Souls. Trigger Guide of Souls. 2 in hand. Ocelot Pride. Yee. Well, now a Blade and Ballista are looking really good together. Floats, what? Guide of Souls. I can block the Johnny. Ocelot Pride trigger. Toxic Deluge, please. E-Temp. Interesting. So, I mean, we can E-Temp out a Guide of Souls, make some spawns. That's a thought. I could Ballista X2. I could Flesh Rake. 0 Ballista Flesh Rake. Right. I'm thinking maybe my best bet is a K command. The question is the K command a Johnny, the K command Guide of Souls, the K command Ocelot Pride, right? I'll pass and hold the K command. Pain cost Molten Rains. We have to respond to that. So ramp, exile. I suppose I can get rid of a Guide of Souls. Otherwise, we can get rid of a Ocelot Pride. I will get rid of the Guide of Souls. And done. That resolves. I'll take 2 down to 8. Float Ocelot Pride would be my thought. Yes. So we're down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So we need to block at least 1. So 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5, 6. Yes. Down to 1. Down to 2, rather. And draw. Landmore Waste. So I can Flesh Rake into Flesh Rake. I can Sephiroth. I can flip Sephiroth, actually. It only has flying, not lifelink, though, is the only problem. Black. Colorless. Green. Sacrifice the Lighted Halfling. Rumble. Emrakul. 7, 8, 9, 10. So don't exactly have what we need. E-temp. Problem is we've already played a land for turn. Done. So Ballista. So we flip the Sephiroth. What I can do now is I can ping a creature down. Yeah, this gets a bit awkward for them because I think I survive. So go to blocks. I'm currently at 5. I block. I block. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I block and I block, I won't survive. Yeah, if I block and block, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. So I will need to block like this. And before damage, oh, discharge. So Sephiroth will die. One, two, three. Ping you down. Discharge. A Johnny trigger. Do you move it from combat? You do. Sephiroth down. Eight. We'll take 3 down to 5. Oh no, because he blocked one. Now we need a deluge. Draw. Well, there's Blade. Is there a point in doing this? The answer is no, right? Well, I guess we can Flesh Rake, but then we can't Flesh Rake again. No. Yeah, there's nothing we can do here. The Blade was a turn late. If we had that plus the Ballista, then we could have done a lot more. But unfortunately, not the case. Okay. That's a loss against energy. Yeah, the drain effect from Sephiroth definitely is relevant. Wonder if I could have played that turn a bit better. Bring in another Sephiroth and run it back. Yeah, this was not thinking about the discharge. On the play for game 3. Interesting. I'm gonna keep. So I can do one of a few things. I could half lean on one, but it means I don't have access to green then. But it will mean I have a K command X2. Yeah, that's a bit interesting. Actually, we can go human. Oh, no. It's a halfling citizen, not a halfling human. That makes sense. Halfling. And pass. Like I said, this allows for K command X2 on 2. We also could play Sephiroth if we really want. Sacred Foundry Shock and Discharge. Yep. We'll just feed them, discharge targets that they really want. Draw. Another Cavernous Souls. I will play E-Temp and hold. And hold. I mean, if they just want to pass back and forth, that's fine by me. Draw. Toxic Deluge. Going to say name Eldrazi. And hold K command X2. As well as Dismember. Elegant Parlor. So we have plenty of interaction. That is for sure. Maybe we need to move the needle at some point. So I will ramp Scry Draw. K command Rumble Blade. So a bit awkward. We'll bottom Rumble, top Blade and draw. And draw Halfling. Okay. Halfling makes it more interesting. The reason is show them the Blade or the Broodscale. At this point, we just hold. We're clearly just holding up interaction. Fetch Arid Mesa. And hold. Paying cost for Molten Rain. I'll float. It's rude, but fine. And draw. Landwar Waste. So, we can cast Equip for 1, 2, 3, 4. It means we can't do anything else thereafter. Like, we could hold up the black and then play Sephiroth. If they have interaction, then we just lose. They've been holding up what seems to be interaction. So I think instead, what I'll do... Black... Colorless... And colorless... Sephiroth. ETB, sack an Eldrazi spawn, get a second blade. I'm going to use this blade as bait then. And pass. See if they have a wear tear or a static prison. Arid Mesa fetch 14. Sacred Foundry tapped. Interesting. I wonder if they don't have anything after all. Okay, there's the wear. Four cards in hand. Fetch Arid Mesa. Seasoned Pyromancer, they are tapped out. Perfect. So we win. Pass in full. Forest. Cast. I guess we can go green, colorless, Broodscale. Blade of the Blood Chief. Blade of the Blood Chief. Sack trigger. Save targets. Always yield. Always yield. Always yes. Always yield. And 7. Oh, do I actually have to stack it every time? That's annoying. And opponent scoops it up. Alright. Sephiroth coming through as the combo finisher. Not bad. We'll be back for match 4. Alright, and we're back for match 4 on the draw for game 1. We'll keep. We're looking for Blade and Broodscale. So we have 8 hits off the top. Do you want to go Halfling first? I mean, it opens up lines for Fleshraker and Sephiroth, so yes. Also blocks the Ocelot Pride rather cleanly. Pass. Air Mesa fetch. Sacred Foundry Shock for Static Prison. Yeah, that's fine. Ocelot Pride. Less fine. Tempted to go Ballista so I can block and ping. Draw. E-Temp. Play Eldrazi Temple. Ballista. And pass. And hold. Static Prison trigger. Down to 1. 1 energy, that is. Marsh Flats. Paying cost 4. Bombardment. Yes. That resolves. Sacrifice a token. Target Ballista. Target Pride. Pass. Pride. Target me. Alright. Down to 15. Ocelot Pride trigger. 2 cards in hand. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. Black. Colorless. Colorless. Tis a Sephiroth. Pass. Unfortunately, I don't have another creature sack. Marsh Flats fetch. Jody Backstreet. Okay, so it's Mardu. We'll pass. Static Prison down to 0 energy. Another Ocelot Pride. That's miserable. And a Johnny. Jesus. Okay, so now we just need to go for the combo. Even then, I don't think we have it. Trigger. Target. Johnny. Target. Yeah, I think I'm just dead then. Yeah, methinks I'm dead. That bombardment, I think, sealed it. 6, 10. Yep, you got it. I'll concede. Sometimes they just have the nuts. It felt decent too, but they just had everything from the static prisons, the bombardments, etc. Bring in Suite of 6. Got the gemstone, flesh rake, ballista, ballista. I do wonder if maybe keeping one ballista is right. Maybe. Because the biggest thing is Sephiroth can just make their lines a bit more awkward. On the play for game 1, or game 2, only Cavern Souls sketches me out a bit. We don't have the combo. I mean, specifically an E-Temp makes us better, but otherwise this hand's really rough. One mulligan. Mulligan, because we have no lands now. That's even worse. Ooh, what a thunk. A no land hand? Bad? Okay. So, pitch Guide of Souls. Do we pitch the Halfling? Or the Sephiroth? Let's pitch the Halfling. Done. Like, yes, it could have gotten us to Sephiroth on 2, but I think I see a different line with Springleaf Drum. And this way, if they have Stag Prison interact with the Blade, that's fine. Worst case scenario, absolutely, 1000% is a Wear Tear. Guide of Souls, that's fine. Draw. Trigger. I mean, I have to play the Broodscale, right? There really is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, Wooded Foothill, fetch for a forest. Alright, interaction check. Pass. And pass. If not, we have the Blade and we have the combo finisher. We can use Springleaf Drum to get us the black source we'd need as well. Bloodstained, fetch 16. Mountain. A Johnny tapped out. We got it. And draw. Tap. And Springleaf. So now we equip Blade. We adapt. Always yes. Always yield. 1. Always yield. 2. Black. Tap spawn. Sephiroth. ETB. Sack spawn. Target you. Save targets. Always yield. And rinse repeat. Good stuff. And opponent will concede. Alright. Well, let's go to game 3. You know what? As I say all the time, sometimes you just have to go for it. Alright, we'll bring out a gemstone, cut a Sephiroth down to 2. Why do I feel like it should be down to 3? Energy. Oh, because I think I did the plan for Broodscale mirror and not whatchamacallit, and not energy. Whoops. Yeah, I was supposed to cut a Might, cut all but 2 Sephiroth. Now we're down to 1 Sephiroth. Yeah. Okay. Yep, never mind. I 1000% just did the Broodscale sideboard instead. Where we cut all of our Ballista because Sephiroth is good for the Mirror Break. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it worked out, so I can't complain. Double temp, no green source. 11 hits off top, and we're on the draw. Yeah, we keep it. We also have K command off top, which would be fantastic. So we have probably 15. Clearing Flesh Rake, 19. We have plenty of hits off top right now. Paying cost for Ocelot Pride. Draw. Another E-10. Not exactly what I wanted to see. We could dismember the Pride. We'll pass. We'll hold. I'll at least take the 1. Down to 19. Paying cost for Guide of Souls. I will dismember. And pass. Marsh Flats, pass. Saga. Okay. In that case, Saga, trigger. Blade, pass. So I have an idea as long as we don't get wear-teared. Basically, we're going for Construct and Springleaf. We'll pass. Because I didn't need to play the Blade. And we could have held that, I suppose. Paying cost for Static Prison, that's fine. Four in hand, Arena of Glory, 3 in hand. Attack for 1, down to 14. End step, draw. K command, okay. This became even more interesting now. E-temp, and we'll hold with K command. We could X equals 3. Got a Shrine Shock, paying cost for. They're gonna haste. Flage. I want that blade back. At the same time, I want Flage out, otherwise they're gonna haste it. I could also just go for There's so many different options here. Because we could ramp Exile, Guide of Souls, and then go for whatchamacallit? Soul Guide Lantern instead. I could. Yeah, maybe we do that. At the same time, I need a green source is the problem. I think I'm actually fine with them getting an energy. So Flage, trigger. Yeah, I desperately need a green source. I suppose the other option is to ramp Scry Draw. End step. Another option also is to make a construct and then hold up our E-temp. Currently they have 5 types in yard. make a construct. Draw. Cavernous Souls is the green for the Broodscale. I will float. So, we could just go for it. We could... I guess we have the blade. We have the Cavernous Souls. The only thing we don't actually have is something to sack to it, though. Though I guess I could K command X equals 1. I mean, it might just be right to go for it. Blade of the Bloodchief. Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. 2 green. Basking Broodscale. Attempt to equip. Paying cost for a discharge. Alrighty. So there's the discharge. And triggers always yield. So in that case, I will exile since they only have 1 in hand. Exile Guide of Souls, exile Flage. Go to combat, swing at you for 2, and now we're just kind of going to construct beat plan. Hits off the top here, K command, green source of course. Land, fetch, surveil, finds what? Keeps it on top, paying cost for red hasting, black, Sephiroth. So they're going to hit me for 3 then. Well, that is rather awkward. Draw. Ballista. So we can go Ballista X equals 1. And then equip. And then pass. No attacks. We can now block the Sephiroth. I guess I should hold. Paying cost discharge. Yes, that resolves. Trigger. Down to 7. We'll go down to 4. Draw. Llanowar Wastes. Malevolent Rumble. Down to 3. Broodscale. Yes. And opponent concedes. Yes, perfect. Because what we do then is I can always ping down the Sephiroth Yeah, that was a bit shaky, not gonna lie. But we got there. Oh boy. Yeah, because then we can use active player, non-active player to our advantage. We play the Broodscale, we equip. So yeah, we play the Broodscale, we equip, we pass the turn, go to upkeep. We sack the spawn, it goes active player, non-active. Blade goes on the stack first. We then can just rinse repeat this until Walking Ballista is large enough that we just ping down our opponent. And understanding active player, non-active player here, really important, because it just guarantees that we win on upkeep. Alright, well, solid win against Mardu Energy with Sephiroth. That was a bit scary, not gonna lie. Well, we'll be back for match 5. Alright, and we're back for match 5. On the draw for game 1. I'll keep this. And pass. Blue the Delta, fetch. Thoughtseize. Otherwise we go Lamor Waste Halfling. And see if we can go Flesh Raker on 2. Swamp. Thoughtseize, yeah. I mean, you could take the Flesh Raker, you could take the Blade. I don't know if taking the Halfling's right. Because we could always draw on the E-Temp. Stirrings is redundant. Emrakul seems a bit weird, but, I mean, it is a payoff, but it's way, way off. I think the Blade might be the best choice. Because we find the Broodscale, then we're off to the races. You specifically need interaction at that point. Lighted Halfling. Draw. Another Flesh Rake, so we'd love an E-Temp here. There's our E-Temp we're looking for. And pass. Alright, I mean, we're looking at Flesh Rake and the Flesh Rake, which is by no means bad. If you find another land, we can go Flesh Rake into Flesh Rake and the Blade, which is at that point a ritual. Which would not be bad. Watery Grave Shock for a Throge. Tis a Throge. 2 types in yard, 4 in hand, and draw. Other Ancient Stirrings. Kind of wish I'd stop seeing that right now. Tis a Flesh Rake. Pass. Four in hand. You need a fetch. You need to have a fetch for push. It's unlikely. This. I mean, it's not unlikely. But it's possible to see that. Here's the fetch. Do you have the push? You also could have a counter spell, which is important to keep in mind. Float the frog. Take the 1. Nothing we can do about that. We'll go up to 5. Yep. Love to see a land off top. Pitches a Saudi backstreet down to 3 in hand. Hit up to 4. End step draw. Oh. Can I win? No. Unfortunately not. I mean, they know about the Blade. They don't know about the Broodscale. I'm tempted to fire off a Stirrings, but doing so, if they counter it, feels pretty bad. So in that case, I'm just going to Glaring Fleshrake, trigger, see if we eat a counterspell. Surprisingly, no counterspell. Attempt to resolve Blade of the Bloodchief. What in the world do you have in your hand? Do I attack? Could have a Bowmaster. I don't think there's a reason to attack with that as a possibility. We'll just hold then. No counterspell there is a bit wild though. End step. Fetch Marsh Flats down to 7. Plains. So they could have Ketra. Oh, Felia. So this might actually be Esper Blink and not Esper Frog. So in that case, the number of spells they have to interact is probably a lot smaller. See, I was playing around a counter spell, but now it's possible that a Witch Enchanter gets me instead. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inquisition. You take the Broodscale, obviously. 3 in hand. Float the frog. You attack with both? You do. What do you blink? A spawn. Not much to do there, so yes. Not gonna block the Felia for obvious reasons. 4 in hand. Marsh Flats. They have to be careful here. Emperor Bones is fine. And pass. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. Alright, let's fire off the Ancient Stirrings. K command. Or Ballista. I'm pretty sure if I go Ballista, do I just win? I think so, right? Ballista. X equals 1. Triggers. Always healed. Down to 5. Down to 3. Down to 1. Equip Blade to Ballista. Go to combat. Just want to make sure that there are no outs here. I mean, they can't even fetch. They could Solitude. But in response to the Solitude, we can just ping him down. Sack the spawn, Ballista ping. And that should be the last of their cards in hand. Okay. So this is Blink, not Catch a Frog. I guess it's Catch a Frog, but not what I was thinking. Alright, win for game 1. In that case, we want Wastegate Battle Mage, Dismember. What else? Blink. Vaccine Bauble is also a choice. You want to cut the Soul Guide Lantern. Fleshraker, Ballista, Sephiroth. Bauble, take the Soul Guide. And run it like this, I think. The one thing that I'm just not sure about is the Toxic Deluge. Because it does hit Ketra as well, which is very much relevant. I just don't have the space is the problem, right? Between Dismember, Wastegate, Bauble. I could cut Bauble, Sephiroth, and Haywire Might for 3 Deluge instead. Though Bauble does help protect against Solitude if we go for the combo kill. But maybe Deluge is better. Something to think about. Something to consider. It was more or less my first draft of the guide. At least the sideboard guide. I'm still working on the deck guide proper, but today's task was let's make a sideboard guide for Golgari and Gruul and a start on the Simic. I mean, this is Fleshrake on 2 or Wastegate Battle Mage on 2. We'll keep, we'll pass. Opponent goes down to 6. So Landwar Waste, Ancient Stirrings, Polluted Delta, pass. There's Broodscale. Okay, so all we're looking for now is a Blade. Another Glaring Fleshrake or a land. I think we can go Glaring Fleshrake. And pass. We just go for the Fleshrake beats again. Fetch Polluted Delta. And take this archive. Yep. Prismatic Ending Yard. Okay. We have access to Wastegate. We have access to the Fleshrake. So we have access to a lot of good cards here. If they play nothing, then they have a Felia. Okay, so they have a Felia. Saga. We'll start with Fleshrake. See if they have a consign. Fleshrake resolves. Okay. There's Felia. I imagine they have an Overlord in hand then. Let's see the Overlord. I mean, we'll Wastegate the Overlord. It's not too bad. Witch Blast? No. 3. Flicker Wisp? No. I'll say, why do you Flicker Wisp? What is this? Ketra? No. Prismatic. Okay. Yeah. That is A-okay by me. Take 2. Draw. K-command. Their shields are down, so we don't have to play around a consign. We just K-command now. I will scry draw exile. Actually, we already have the Saga for the Blades. I'm gonna ramp exile. If they interact with the Saga, that is what it is. We have an Ancient Stirrings to dig a bit deeper too. I'll pass and hold. Because they definitely have Consign in the deck. White Orchid Phantom, maybe Vindicate. Go to Delta Yard. 3 in hand. White, white, Wrath. Wrath would kind of suck, admittedly. Black. Black, white, Overlord. Damsphere. Yeah, that's fine. Holds up Meticulous Archive. So I want to feed them something, right? We could feed them Flesh Rake. Actually, let's feed them the Wastegate. Oh, but I have to... I guess I could do it like this. Wastegate kick. Green. Colorless. And Saga? Yes. Okay, interesting. No consign. Flash Rake. Okay, no consign. I mean, we are set to go then next turn. Yeah, I was definitely expecting a consign there on either of those two. Fascinating. Black, white, Overlord, Emperor. Emperor's fine. You can eat a K command. Yep. 2 in hand, 2 untapped. Draw. Trigger. Another Broodscale, Jesus. Blade of the Blood Chief. Trigger. Always yield. Always yield. ETB. Trigger. Attempt to equip. Black. Fatal Push. That is fine. Yes. Always yield. You have more where that came from. Don't you worry, opponent. In that case, we'll phase change and attack with Wastegate. Down to 10. And pass and hold. 2 in hand. A land. 1 in hand. Fetch Floodstrand down to 9. They have to be careful about the Flesh Rake, because it can just kill them. There's just an Overlord. Hardcast Overlord, looking like it. No, Solitude. Game's over then. Because we have the Walking Ballista? Yes. I guess, no, is it over? I need a land, right? Yes. I need a land. If I find a land, then it's GG's. Attack for 2. Take. Draw. There it is. Fetch. For a forest. Equip. Sack. Always yes. Always yield. I have Ballista. And sack. So I just need to go to 19. So So we'll go to... Oh, not 19. I'm blanking out. 18... 20... 20. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, 19. So that was right, yeah. Go to 19 and then sack last spawn for 20. And then it is GG's. I guess we could have done it a little bit lower technically because we can hang the Solitude too. And sack. Done. Ballista. Remove. And Bone scoops it up. Alright, solid wins against Blink. Alright, well I definitely woke up in the latter half of this league. The first match against Cutter, I was on a different planet, I think. I think I was like, where am I? What am I doing? I don't know. But I was certainly not very present. I was making a ton of play mistakes. But otherwise, really solid showing. Sephiroth even getting some combo wins, helping us draw to our combo, acting as a mid-range piece. So really good stuff there. Pretty happy with it. Happy with Sephiroth using it as a mid-range piece first and a combo card second. Because I've seen some Golgari lists just cutting Walking Ballista, which I think is a mistake. Because the one major benefit of Ballista is that it can enable a turn 3 win by obviously being able to play Broodscale on turn 3, equip Broodscale, Ballista, and then 0 triggering Blade. And then you can either go into K Command, Glaring Flesh Rake, or another Ballista. Whereas Sephiroth can't do that, right? There's also just the part of like turn 1 Blade, turn 2 Broodscale, equip, adapt, sack, then Ballista on 3. Most times, if not all times in that case, you don't have a black source where you can play the Sephiroth. Whereas obviously with Ballista and Glaring Flesh Rake and K Command, you don't need a black source. So I think it's important to probably keep the Ballista, keep the Flesh Rake, and use Sephiroth as a mid-range piece first and a combo piece second. And we saw where it can come up as a combo piece. When you look at your mana, you go, okay, well I have the Blade, I just need black. Okay, we have the Spring Leaf, now we can go off. So I think Sephiroth definitely has its place. And I think, I'm not sure if 4 is the right number. That's the one thing I'm not sure about, because it is legendary. So I'm not sure if I want to see it in my opening hand that much, but it's something to consider, something to think about, right? The question is, if we do go down to 3 copies instead, what else do we bring in, right? A 4th Ballista, another land. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go up to 23. We could run a Undercity Sewers instead. It's a thought. I really don't like Unearth. I think Unearth is bad. I think that we have very few targets, and the times where it's in the yards because we've been interacted with. And the Unearth just... It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't get hit by Ancient Stirrings, doesn't get hit by Malevolent Rumble. You need a black source, which can sometimes be a bit cumbersome. So, while I guess it also gives you the ability to cycle it for 2, I think Unearth is not great. Toxic Deluge, I'm not sure about whether that or like Fatal Push or Thoughtseize would be better. But the thought was Gruul has Fire Spout or Pyroclasm. You know, black also could benefit from a sweeper, and it is modular, which is nice. You know, could see usage in, let's say, Blink, in the matchup against Blink, because we could always go X equals 5, and that clears their entire board. Whereas Simic really doesn't have anything. So I think maybe the Toxic Deluge is right. I think it might be good. It just is a little bit awkward because it is very painful. Thankfully, like in most times, you're only going x equals 3 or x equals 1. Very rare that you go more than that, I think, except in matchups like Blink if we bring that in. But I think there's just so many good cards we bring into Blink, from Wastegate Battle Mage to Vexing Bobble to what else? Dismember. I think maybe Deluge isn't necessary. I don't know. Like I said, this is the first draft of this sideboard guide. I did create one for all three of my Broodscale lists: Golgari, Gruul, and Simic. So if you have a moment, definitely check it out. I'll put a link in my Twitter post, and there'll also be links over in my Discord, so on and so forth. Maybe I'll put a link in the YouTube video. That wouldn't be a bad idea, especially as now I'm going to have just a single document for my sideboards. It's just going to be sideboard matrix. It's going to have ERAMP, Broodscale, etc. It's going to have a lot of tabs, right? I wonder if there's a way for me to group tabs. That'd be kind of nice. I don't know if there is. It would be cool if I could. I don't think there is. Oh well. But that being said, definitely give me some feedback on it. It's my first draft of Broodscale. I think there's room for improvement. I by no means view myself as the expert on the deck. You know, continuing to learn it, continuing to figure out what the right cards are, using the data. Of course, our data-driven deck design helps us with that and guides us towards the right solutions, the right card choices. But overall, having fun with the deck. We'll get some more data on Sephiroth specifically. Once we have enough data to like make a determination, yes, Sephiroth is a good card. We'll probably put a pin in the Golgari list, and then maybe start doing some testing on Irrigast Eldrazi ramp while I write up my guide for Broodscale. So excited about that. Hopefully you guys are too, as I continue to make preparations for Regional Championship Las Vegas here in November. So we have roughly 4 months. We have plenty of time to do plenty of testing. Of course, we have 2 sets, actually 3, that come out before RC Vegas. I'm really hoping that the Avatar: The Last Airbender set, though, is not legal for it. Otherwise, that will be kind of rough. Not gonna lie. But I'll have to wait and see. That said, I'll end my rambling there. As always, if you did enjoy the video, please do consider hitting the like button, comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It'd be much appreciated. For as much as that, I hope that you all learn from me in both my success and failures. I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached the point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button, as we're getting closer and closer to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. At which point, I'll be able to start monetizing these videos, allowing me to start saving up towards a streaming PC, so I can stream live over on Twitch. In the meantime, though, if you do want to support me monetarily, you can do so over my Patreon, where you get early access to my YouTube videos and any updates I make to my deck guides. That being said, though, folks, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!